Welcome back to my channel, folks. I'm with the entrepreneur Lavine Hemlani. He is the CEO and founder of Accelerate, based in Hong Kong. He is an inspirational entrepreneur in the region, a very forward-thinking person trying to help people upskill in an ever-changing world. He has a story to tell, which you may have heard on my podcast channel, The Good Luck Club. And today he's taking time out to share with me his deep story about how he's built his business, how he's nearly gone bankrupt, and how being almost bankrupt has made him the success he is today. We're going to talk a little bit about some sensitive things. We're going to talk about issues around finance. And I think you might find the next 5-10 minutes of this interview pretty interesting. Lavine, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me on my channel. I'm excited to have you here, and I'm very excited to hear your insights. So why don't you tell us, as they say, start at the beginning. Tell us, I think you mentioned to me before that you were going to do a TED Talk about telling people to follow their dreams. But what was going through your mind as you're preparing to do that TED Talk?
Yeah, it's a funny thing, being an entrepreneur, being a CEO. On the outside, there's so much the world sees. Your family sees, your friends see, LinkedIn sees, Facebook sees, awards sees. And on the inside, everything may not be quite so well. I look back, there's a period not too long ago, a couple of years ago, I was asked to do a couple of TED Talks, one at Education University and the other at CityU. During those period, my organization was going through a pretty tumultuous restructuring. Of course, some of it was sensitive, so I tried not to let the world know about it, but it's funny because on the outside, everything looked great. I'm speaking in front of 500 students and I'm telling them, begin your life with adventure, go do wild things, go, challenge yourself to go be absolutely out there, do things that scare you, find adventure and service, and like really build things that change people's lives. So you add meaning and purpose. But we were going through some pretty tough decisions and tough restructurings and a very tumultuous period on the inside. So life is filled with duality, the whole yin and yang thing.
So there you are telling people to live their dream and go for it, while you're in the middle of following that exact advice yourself, but feeling a lot of pain and wondering if you're making the right decision. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah. It kind of helped me get a reality check on what I was doing. I was like, am I the greatest hypocrite in the world to stand on a stage and tell 500 people to try and build game-defining companies and not listen to their parents and avoid getting a job as an accountant in some firm and go out there? But I think that's actually the best thing. When you go out there and you struggle and you fall down, and you fall down big in some cases, and you learn to pick yourself up. It sounds cliched, but if you are really determined on a mission and a cause and a purpose, I think it kind of rejuvenates your fire, and you realize that everything is just a blip. Things happen. You learn to deal with them. You learn to tackle your problems head on. And I think going through major failure, whether it's financial or personal or company-wide, really gives you the maturity to reflect on that and to come out a stronger person to make better decisions and build even more game-changing companies.
So what happened?
Long story short, I think a lot of founders do this. A lot of first-time founders. I was 22, 23, built this company, scaled it a bit too fast with, bleeding cash. We're raising capital. Honestly, I felt maybe slightly invincible. I've got this thing and we're scaling, and don't ever feel invincible in business, right? You always want to feel what could go wrong. And so we were hemorrhaging cash, like a lot of startups do, in the thought that the next funding round would happen. We were growing fast, but not putting the right processes and infrastructure to bring in the right people in the organization that truly wanted to build a game defining company in education and powered by passion. And there's a lot of internal stress and tensions, and just the combination of all that led to the whole thing to kind of implode. Some very painful days, some very painful months. And so I was given the chance to kind of rebuild from scratch, which was honestly one of the most beautiful things in the world.
So what actually happened? How did you resolve it? So you're talking here about a co-founder fallout, right? Primarily.
Yeah, it's a falling out on multiple things.
And that led to, I guess, legal battles.
Yeah, without hurting anyone out there. There was just a mismatch between certain people in the organization. We all wanted different things. We dealt with things very immaturely. That led to certain issues with people who were on the board or people who were involved with us, our company. Just a lot of there's just a lot of tension. Let's just leave it at that. There was a lot of tension. I had not built a strong company on strong foundations with strong people who would really take us to the next stage. It was like a house of cards waiting to collapse. I just didn't have the maturity to build a proper sort of house. It was built on those cards, and then just like one or two of those, but it was waiting to happen. And I think too often we build things, or we try to move so fast that we don't take a step to realize that life is all about systems. So I didn't realize the dependencies, or that certain tensions would resolve in negative ways. So the second order and third order consequences of your actions, right, of taking certain decisions, of deciding to work with certain people who, there were certain people who were bad actors. And that led to a lot of, nightmares. And I'm sure a lot of startup founders out there know what I'm talking about. Financial nightmares, organizational nightmares, HR nightmares, customer nightmares, personal nightmares, emotional nightmares, the ability to deal with things in public when it comes to legal. And I think, all that happened within the span of a week, and kind of forces you to come back and be better.
I think there's also an element that's not talked about much, the mental health strain of such an experience.
Yeah. Oh my God. Don't even get me started. Mental health is something that a lot of founders try not to talk about. We're so busy trying to be such rock stars out there. I actually started an organization precisely because of that. I wanted, and we have this Founders Circle International, 50 founders who try and support each other, be positive lights to each other. We have these once a month meetups, and we just ask each other, what is the biggest problem in your personal life, your biggest problem in your professional life, and just give each other a safe space to kind of bring out different ways. So someone might have a divorce, and then someone might have a legal issue, or a weird landlord, right? So then 3 other founders who've also been through there, like, hey, this is how you deal with it. Let's show you how to deal with it. That sort of thing. So mental health is one that people don't want to talk about, but you could have the most successful company in the world. It wouldn't matter if you didn't have fun, if you didn't mentally feel like, I'm excited to wake up and live today. Bad mental health.
I think it goes the other way. I think if people are unhappy and they have a big business, it can make them more unhappy. But it's interesting. I also have a group. I don't know if 50 is the magic number, but I also have a group of 50 people, and basically same concept, kind of helping each other, supporting each other. Trying to, because I think it's very lonely being an entrepreneur. It's one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast, make people feel not alone. So there are people that are having good days and bad days out there that can empathize and help, right? So, there's definitely something in it. And you mentioned something else there that I think isn't talked about much in the entrepreneur sphere, which is the effect on the entrepreneur's partner in life. How your actions and your ambitions play a positive and negative role in your partner's life. So you mentioned there that at the same time you had relationship drama. Okay. Do you feel comfortable talking about that?
I'll leave it at when you're not in the right headspace, you don't make the right decisions, and that affects just make judgment errors that cause you to really, not make good decisions. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to elaborate from my own personal experience, which is if you don't align your partner to your goals, it's just in life, your partner in life I'm talking about, it can be just as damaging as not aligning your co-founder in a business to your goals. So if, I've been personally lucky in life that my partner actually worked with me in Fluid. So she got to know how I like to work, which is pretty intense. But, prior to meeting her, I had a lot of relationships where, work was almost a hindrance to our relationship in their minds. Like, why are you always working, Simon? Why,
I've been there.
I want to go out tonight and stay out till 4 a.m. partying. And I'd be like, well, I've got to get up early tomorrow. I'm doing an event or I'm doing a conference. Or and so, the alignment, you may have chemistry as two humans, but there's a gap between what you want and what they want, and you don't have those hard conversations, right? I think. Is that insight from my experience ringing true with what happened to you about you having to say too much and hurt anybody's feelings?
Yeah, I made certain decisions when I was building the company, and I didn't have the maturity to kind of realize that I was making decisions that were negatively impacting people, second order and third order consequences. I think you need to know that if you're running an organization, it's going to have an impact on those people that work there. It's going to have an impact on your family. It's going to have an impact on your friends. And I think you can have entrepreneurship. I think you can have like what you're working on literally consume you and destroy you. In many ways, it sounds really funny. The world thinks, wow, you're building this great company. And I think it can make things so claustrophobic. You don't know where you are. You're lost. And bad mental health means bad decisions across a variety of things. And those do ripple into friendships and relationships. And I think one of the greatest things that one can do is just realize that life goes on and you have to get up, right? We all make mistakes, and sometimes being in the wrong headspace really messes with your decision-making abilities. But you can sit here and you can be in those, they call it, every entrepreneur goes there, they call it the Death Valley or the Valley of Despair. I'm sure you know this one, Simon. I'm sure you've interviewed people. Like there's always this 1 year or this 1 6-month period. You start off great, things are going well, kaboom, it's absolute hell across everything in your life. Fitness levels, not good. Mental health, not good. Emotional life, not good. Healthcare, like everything is just there. And those are the moments, right? When you're down to your last $2 and you're still coming back every day saying, no matter what, I will not stop. I refuse to give up, right? I absolutely refuse to stop. I will just keep going no matter what comes my way. And I will make mistakes, but I will get up again and again and again. And if I fall down, I will get up again. It's those moments that define, do you really want to build this for something greater than yourself, like a purpose, a legacy, or are you really just trying to make a quick exit and leave? And those are the moments where those that build companies just for money, they get eliminated very fast. Oh yeah, this wasn't for me. I wasn't built for entrepreneurship. I'm going to go back and get a job. If you're 10 feet underwater, you simply cannot breathe. The world feels like it's turned its back on you. You've made so many mistakes and you just feel like, what am I doing? Right? Your life is just literally ripping itself in front of you. and you still have that hope, you know what, maybe tomorrow will be better. Maybe I just got to get through this one last day. I had to get through this. And then those are the things that separate, I think, people who are really in it for the long term versus, whatever, like, let me go get an exit. So
totally. I think what you're talking about there is also building up resilience. There's the battle scar analogy, right? Like every wound just makes you stronger, sort of concept. But yeah, I appreciate you giving your time. I know this is a sensitive subject, and this is only 18 months ago that this kind of traumatic experience happened to you, and since then, wow, you've built your business back up into a real force to be reckoned with. Not only a force to be reckoned with, but a force for good. You're upskilling people and doing some amazing things. So, but I do think some of your insights there, I mean, I want people to understand this. My view, because I've been at it a little bit longer than you, is the relationship part is so important to align alongside your co-founder part. So whoever you're in a relationship with needs to understand what you're talking about there, Lavine, is like almost not enjoying the pain, but appreciating it and pushing through. And I think if your partner isn't with you, the pain is even more intense because they're not willing to lose it all and still keep going, still pushing through. Then you lose them along the way, and that can be painful because you're with them for a reason at that moment, right?
So. I've been in relationships where it really it wasn't right for either party, and we both know it, right? And it's with business, with people that work for you, work with you, especially, relationships, family, friends, but also, I guess, partners, right? You need the people that will uplift you and energize you and are on the same page.
And help you through those painful moments. Yeah, they're going to help you through those painful moments.
And if you're on the same page, and then so be it, but don't force it, right? Don't hide away from those conversations. Don't just try and bury yourself in work, which is what I did. No matter
having those tough conversations,
difficult those conversations are. Yeah, you need to just say, listen, this is not working. This is working, or this is what's going through my head. Make the tough calls, right? If someone's got to leave your life, just make the tough calls. If someone is not working out at work and they're working in one of your teams, or a co-founder or whatever, if things aren't working, what do you think? Like someone from above, like God is gonna, something is gonna change that? No, you have to change that, right? So people need to, especially if you're running a company, this is your ship. So you better have the courage to stand up and make those tough decisions and just be honest.
I think the analogy of a ship is also very interesting. Really, I think a lot of people, when they invite people on their ship, they don't explain who they are. They don't explain what they're really about. Sometimes there's a surface element to it. When you first meet someone, maybe you meet them and you're in a nice restaurant together, or you're going out in a nice car, whatever reason. They look at the superficial, but they don't actually understand who you are. Like me personally, I'm willing to go broke to do what I love. So I need a partner who's going to love me if I'm rich or poor. And that element. But look, I appreciate your insights and thank you so much for this extra time with us today, and for also sharing your insights on the podcast. So my listeners, you can go listen not only on the simonscribb.com channel to Lavine's insights, you can also go check out his podcast on the Good Luck Club, where he shares his journey, his story, and his insights. I think you'll find it both profound and inspiring.
Simon, if I just had one last thing, you need alignment on body, mind, and soul. You need your mind to be functioning. You need to be mentally healthy. Body, you need to be healthy in your diet, you're working out. But I guess the soul part, everyone knows you should live healthy. Everyone knows you should read more, right? But you really need the soul part. You need that thing where your soul is clean, and it's really the relationships that clean the soul, right? It's not like soft stuff. This is really, really important. You need to be around a very, very good environment, especially those closest to you, personal relationships, romantic relationships, your closest friends. If there's people that are dragging energy out of your life, it's not, especially if you're building a game defining company, you cannot afford that. And I think too often, just to finish up, people only focus on the first two, the mind and the body. They don't forget that soul part. So
I think it's a good point. I think the soul part is hard for people to grasp. What is a clean soul?
Yeah, and the soul is also what you want in your life. Your purpose, right? Do people help you get your purpose? Do you surround yourself amongst amazing founders who help you get there, or they drag you down?
Well, it's the old, have the right people around you to get you where you want to go. Yeah, but we'll have you back on. Your journey's just beginning, as far as I'm concerned. Although you've got a great story already.
A long journey ahead.
Yeah, so I look forward to having you back on the channel. Thank you so much for giving your time this morning.
It's been a pleasure.